The prophecies are almost complete. Oh, holy day! A new heaven and a new earth are but hours away. In 1783, Elspeth Buchan, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet and a crown of 12 stars on her head, planted our roots here in Dumfries and Galloway. She prepared the soil so that we could grow, cultivating our commitment and preparing for God's harvest. Now that day has come. Timor mortis conturbat me. Fear of death disturbs me. Today, in our place, in High Porter's Town, where the 12th Apostle land lies, a dozen maids equal to a dozen stains equal to a dozen heats bowed in reverence to our King, our God on high, there to witness the silencing of a murderer whose actions evoke the final part of our prophecy, giving forth the access to salvation. And then my bloodied hands, fresh with the life of my sire, my red hands shall symbolise the offering we make, the silence we have undertaken, the years of quiet secrecy for this day to come about. I am your mother, Quine, brought forth almost 60 months ago when Mertis, the traitress, was discovered. In losing her faith, she lost her life at our hands, as was decreed. I took her place, henceforth hidden from those who believed I was dead, protecting the purity and sanctity of my soul from this sin-soaked world until today. Today, when the consequence of the death of our former seer, the mighty McEwen Sanders, come to pass, our martyr, his sacrifice will be rewarded. The Sanders name will be held in such high acclaim in the heights of the promised land that none shall doubt their greatness. And by his side, my Fraser, the seer inheritor, and I, having led our brethren unto the promised land, shall find such everlasting peace, such blissful solemnity, such love in heaven for eternity. There are those who doubted us, those that would judge us, lecture us, those that refuse to believe, who we leave behind, who watch this message. There is no room for non-believers. And so I speak to them, ye miscreants and those alike devils, ye shall perish. Our ritual will bring forth the day of retribution. Nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, famines, pestilences and fearful events. Those devil-marked who chose not to believe, the sinners storing up the wrath of God, as Leviticus tells us, they will be chastised 7 times for their sins and eat the flesh of their sons and daughters before their ordeal is done. And then all their bodies shall roast in mortal collective agony. Yes! This is what we have been saved from. So it is for you that I deliver this final message, knowing by this time our ritual will be done and your fate sealed. As you prepare for your tribunal of penance, know this. The second scepter fills a void, a vacuum. In our world, seeped and saturated with distrust and suspicion, where fear is felt between friends and the corrosive power of the lie is victorious in all places, here holds us a space. When knowledge and learning is questioned, the word of the ignorant is gospel, and the ordinary man thinks he knows better than the expert, here holds us a space. In a time when news relies on gossip and conjecture, where conspiracy spun riots and violence, and when some even claim that the earth is as flat as a dinner plate, here holds us a space. The proverb is forgotten. The truth will out no longer. So it seems. You think you are free to have an opinion, to be a voice, to shout and to stamp your outrage at society, but everything you read and understand is filtered through perception. It all has its own agenda. So how can you argue for your own responsibility, the freedom to make decisions, when you can't tell the truth from a lie? When you make choices every day at the click of a button without even knowing what the consequences might be? When you condone an unhappy and unfair society which turns in on itself instead of seeking answers it so desperately needs? It is a corrosive way of living, and we pity you for it. We have our truth, and we follow it to the end. Do not fear what we have done or what we do, brethren. Our immortality is as assured as the sunset and on the day of reckoning. Our ritual complete, we shall rise above this plane. Earth is merely a passing place. We have measured ourselves to match ourselves to the heights of heaven. We have measured ourselves, and we are fit and proper to begin this heavenly ascent. Death is death, and life is life, as it is foretold in Revelations. I am prepared and ready, like a bride dressed to meet her husband. Timor mortis conturbat me. It is now time to leave.